In case you weren't aware, what we're talking about tonight are the two e-reading apps that we have available. One of them is called Hoopla and one of them is called Libby. I just wanted to say, like, blanket statement right here at the beginning that these are very different apps, and I highly recommend that if you're going to explore one, that you explore both of them, because they really do have two separate types of libraries included in them. And like I said, if you're going to download one, I really recommend that you download the other and look at them both, because they just work together so well as a pair to help you find the things that you want to read online. If it's your first time accessing these e-content resources, what I recommend that you do is just go to our website to start and follow the links from our website until you become more comfortable with these websites, and if you want to bookmark them and eventually download the apps to your smart device, whatever. But to start, head to our website, and our URL is just www.cdpl.lib.in.us. And once you're at our website, you're going to head to the e-content tab and then just click right on there on that word e-content, or you can go down here, doesn't matter. And on the e-content page, just scroll down a bit to the reading and watching portion, and you're going to look for Libby and Hoopla. To get to these websites on a desktop computer, we can just click on either the words or the image right here, and it will take us to the website version of these. But what I really want to emphasize is that these are also available as applications that you can get on your smartphone or on your tablet. And most people probably are using Libby and Hoopla through the app and not on a computer. But there are those of you out there that might prefer a bigger screen, or with Hoopla, you can actually watch things. So that's where a larger screen may come into play for you. Or maybe if you're the kind of person who's sitting at a desk in an office and you're allowed to have a book, it might be easier to bring up your book on your computer screen to be reading. And those are all cases where you might want to use the website version of Libby and Hoopla. But just be aware that you can access both of these as a website or as an app on your smart device. We're going to go ahead and head to the Libby website now by clicking on that icon.
Hey, and just a quick note from the future. I didn't do a good job of explaining that you will see sometimes we use Libby and Overdrive, those phrases interchangeably. Overdrive is the parent company that created Libby. And so on the website, you can go into Libby if you want, and that's going to give you a more mobile-friendly experience. It's going to look a lot more like what it would look like on your phone. But we have also provided you with a link to go to the Overdrive version of the website, which is a little more friendly if you would prefer to be on a computer instead of on a phone or a tablet.
And if it's your first time, you are going to be prompted to log in or kind of create an account with Libby. And you'll need to have your library card information handy for that. And Libby, it makes it really easy and just walks you through the entire process. So whether you are opening up the app on your phone for the first time or doing what I'm doing and going in as a website user, it's going to look the exact same. It's first going to ask you, do you have a library card? And you can answer yes. And then you're going to have to search for our library. And I want to point out, currently our library is in the middle of a transfer from one collection of libraries to another on Libby. So you might see Crawfordsville District Public Library listed twice in the list that we're about to bring up, and I'll tell you which one to choose. But for now, you can search for us by name, by city, or by zip code. It doesn't really matter. Libby just wants to identify what library you belong to. And here we go. And it will bring up all the libraries that match our zip code. And so here you can see there are two different listings for Crawfordsville District Public Library. We are currently transferring from the Digital Download Center into the Indiana Digital Library. And that just means that we are joining a collection of other libraries that pool their resources. So we're going to be part of the consortium called the Indiana Digital Library going forward. So at this point, when you see this list, you want to click on Indiana Digital Library. And it's just telling Libby, this is the collection of libraries that I belong to. After you select that library group, it's then going to prompt you to enter your library card information so that it knows that you're actually a patron with us. And you even have the option, if you don't yet have a library card with us, you can choose this I would like a card option. And I'm not quite sure what would happen next because I've never looked at it myself, but I do believe that Libby would help you get signed up for a card. But right now I'm actually going to sign in with my card information. And I'm just going to re-select Crawfordsville District Public Library, and then you're going to type in your card number. You can find this card barcode number on the back of your library card. It's quite a long number. 287218259304555 is mine. And then on top of needing to know your barcode number, you also need to know your password. And here at CDPL, most of our patrons now use PIN numbers, like a 4-digit PIN number. So go ahead and guess what your PIN number might be. And if this doesn't work for you, you can reset your PIN really easily. You can call our front desk or you can visit us in person if you've never set one up before, and we can get you hooked up with your PIN number. But that's how you're going to sign in. And here we go. It's got my little digital library card right here. And if you get the Libby app on your phone or your tablet, but let's say you have like 5 people in your family, including children, who all are using that device to read ebooks, you have the chance to add everybody's cards so that everybody can have their own checkouts and holds. And you might even want to rename your cards at this point if you have a lot of people in your family, just so that you don't get accounts confused and don't like end up logging into different people's library cards. But it's just me right now, so I'm gonna go ahead and hit next. And then we are here on like the main page of Libby. So let's get into the weeds here. Let's just start talking about what you're looking at on the page. Oh, close, go away. So if this is your first time getting on Libby, chances are that you probably already have a book in mind that you want to check out and start reading. So that's the first thing we're going to do, is just look at how do I find a book that I'm interested in? How do I check it out to my account? How do I read it at that point? And it's very simple. Down here along the bottom are your major tools for navigating Libby. And we are going to just go over on the left side of this menu to the magnifying glass. That's the universal symbol for a search tool. We're going to click on it. And then up at the top of your page, after you click on the magnifying glass, you'll get a search bar that you can click on and type in the title of whatever you're interested in reading. I'm going to look for a book called The House in the Cerulean Sea, which I really recommend. It's a really warm and lovely story. And I hit enter after I typed in my title, and then it brings up a list of every book that it thinks matches what you're searching for. And depending on what words and how common the words are that you're using, you might get a much longer list than this. But Libby guessed really correctly that this is the book I was looking for. And what you'll notice is that we do have 2 different entries here. And what we're looking at is the first one on the left side is the actual ebook entry. And then on the right side, we have the audiobook entry. And you can tell they're different just because the thumbnail for the book cover for the audiobook, it always takes it down to like an exact square, and it puts underneath that square an amount of time in hours, which is letting you know that it's an audiobook. So this is a 12-hour long audiobook approximately. And if I wanted to instead read the actual ebook of it instead of listening to it, I would just choose the other one. So that's how you can kind of tell between, oh, this looks like the same book, oh, but it's the audiobook and the ebook version. Interesting. A few more things to kind of take a look at right here in our listings before we click on one of these. And it's time for me to explain a nuance about using our ebook vendors, which this can be a little bit confusing if you haven't checked out ebooks before from a library. But with Libby in particular, the way the ebooks work is that we have purchased licenses for our patrons to be able to read these online. But what that means is that usually there's only one digital copy of a book available at a time. So if, say, you and your brother were both interested in reading the exact same book on Libby, and one of you got to that book in the app and checked it out first, when the other person went to look at that exact same book, it would appear to be checked out. And that's what I'm saying is sometimes confusing for people. The fact that it's a digital book but that they are checked out to other people so that you can't always access them. It's just a licensing thing. So what you'll see up here at the top of like your little book listing is this icon that looks like a bit of a calendar with like a sort of a time, like a clock on it. That is telling you that this book is checked out to somebody else and that there's a hold list for it. Like there's a wait period to wait for this book to come to you. If you hover over that icon and just pause, it'll tell you approximately what that wait looks like. So for this ebook, it's 3 weeks. For the audiobook, it's 8 weeks. You can also click on the icon to get just a little bit more information. So down here, we've got about an 8-week wait for the audiobook version. There are 9 copies of this that belong to our collection of libraries, but there are 33 people waiting on those 9 copies. So it's about 4 people waiting per copy, and that's how the math works out to make it, if you place a hold, it'll be about 8 weeks before it's available for you to check out. Just a small nuance for you to be aware of. And that's why I recommend that people not only look at Libby, but also look at Hoopla, because if something is checked out on Libby, there's a chance that it will just be automatically available on Hoopla for you. So that's what we're looking at there. And now let's say, okay, well, it's an 8-week wait, but that's fine. I definitely know I want to listen to this audiobook. I can just click right here on place hold. And just like here at the library itself, this will insert you within the wait list. And once everybody else has gotten it who was in line before you, it will come to you. So I clicked on the first place hold. Now it's bringing this up and just saying, like, do you really want to do this? And yes, I'm going to click one more time on place hold, and it will confirm that I did so. Maybe it'll be like 10 minutes. Nope, we're good. And then it brings you up some more options. So if you accidentally placed a hold and you don't actually want that, you could suspend it really quickly. But we're just going to go back to keep browsing so that we can keep talking about some things. And here in the list, you can see that now that I've placed the hold, I can go back in to manage it if I want to. You can also place samples. So if you want to try to get the sense of like, do I like the narrator for this audiobook? Do I want to commit to this audiobook narrator? You can listen to a sample to find out. And a fun sort of thing for if you're like a user of Goodreads, or if you just have like book lists and you're always kind of tracking and organizing your reading, you can tag books that you find on here as well. So if you see something that looks really good, but you're just not quite ready to check it out and start reading it, I always just click on tag, and then you can tag things. Do I have any little lists started down here? I don't think I do. So I could just create a new tag and name it like my TBR list. And then I can just save any books I'm interested in to that TBR list and find them a lot easier later on. But that's what the searching function looks like on Libby. It's pretty straightforward. You can also, at this point, click on the title to learn more about it if you wanted to. So you could go in and actually read the description of the book. You could look at the categories that it falls under, and these are clickable. So maybe you read the description and you don't want this particular book, but you do want to read a fantasy book. You could go over here and click on the fantasy tag, and you're going to get 10,000 book options that fall under that fantasy tag if you do so. And if you keep scrolling, this is really nice as well. Libby will try to tell you if you're looking at an audiobook that there is also an ebook available, and vice versa. And there's just some more information at the bottom that you might be interested in reading. But that is sort of the book result listing from the searching menu. And now moving on in our little menu down here, past the magnifying glass to the building icon that represents the library. And this is just sort of the browsing page for you to be able to find new books if you would like to, or you can look at collections that the librarians have put together for you. We do actually create curated lists, so I just put together this list earlier today for you guys to be able to browse. It's a group of family sagas, since so many of our patrons seem to like books that, oops, what's going on there? I don't know. That shouldn't have happened. There we go. Okay. So you can click on those collections that we're curating and kind of go in and see what we've selected for you as recommendations. And then there are also guides that have been created, not by us actually, but by the librarians that work for this company called Libby itself. And if you keep scrolling, you'll just see lots and lots of collections, so that if you're the kind of person who just wants to browse, if you don't have anything in mind that you want to read necessarily, but you're trying to just gather ideas, I always love scrolling through the browsing page on Libby because there's so much to look at and it looks pretty, and the genres and collections are interesting and cool. And that's what this page is. This middle icon right here of these 3 lines, if you click on that, that will take you to sort of your account section on Libby. And there's not too much to look at here, but this is a great spot to head to for if you need to disconnect your library card from the app. Like if you've logged in a public computer lab or something and need to take your card off, go into this section of the menu, scrolling down to your card, your library, to your card, will bring up your little icon, and then you would click on Actions and Remove Card if you needed to sort of sign out or just unlink your library card so that others can't access it. That's really the only thing I've ever done here in this sort of menu account area. So moving on from there, you actually get to your personal shelf in the app. So if you check books out, this is where those books get sent for you to be able to read them. And so I've already checked this book out to read, but let's go back and search and just find another one so that you can see the process start to finish. What would be a book that would be available right now? Wow, I don't know why it's so difficult to think of a book. Let me... Yoon Ha Lee. Yay! Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and check out Nine Fox Gambit, another book that I really recommend, by the way. Just by clicking on Borrow right here, hit Borrow. And then I could go ahead and click on Open Book right now and it would zoom me to that book. But let's just say that you decided to keep browsing, but now you're ready to read your book. Now we'll head over to the stack of books, which is again your personal shelf. And there's the book that I checked out. And so I can click on Read With. And if you have a Kindle device, this is so nice. You can choose Kindle and it will walk you through getting this title onto your Kindle reader so that you can read it in the way that you prefer. But you can also just click on Libby and then you can read your book on the screen if you're on a computer or within the app itself if you're on your phone or your tablet. And it will just take a moment to get that book opened up for you. It has to sort of load all of those pages, etc. But once it does, you've got a lot of functionality for reading. On a phone, you would be scrolling, but here on the computer, I'm clicking on the left and the right side of the window to kind of move forward in my pages. So I'm going to click on the right side, click on the right side, and that's how you move forward through the book. There's chapter 1. If you click right in the middle of the page, so not on the left or the right, but just right in the middle, it'll bring up this menu of options for you. At the top, what does this little guy do? He's a little doodad. What does he do? I don't even know. He does something. Oh, so that will toggle it so that you have just one page, or if you toggle it back the other way, it will be more of the traditional book layout where you've got a page on the right and the left as you're kind of advancing. Totally up to you. It's just based on whatever feels better when you're reading. And then if you bring up your menu again, you can go up here to the A. You can change the size of your text. So this is really nice if you need large print. You can make this quite large. And you can do some other choices down here to kind of improve how it displays for you when you're reading, depending on your phone screen and etc., like whatever your preferences are. You have a search option, so you can actually search for the book itself if you're trying to find a particular page or chapter or whatever it happens to be. And then up here, kind of in the corner, you can't see that super well, but right here is our little bookmark guy. So if you want to place a bookmark, like if you need to step away from the book for a little while, click on that little icon until it turns blue, and then you've bookmarked your book so that you can return to the exact page. The app will kind of do that for you anyway, but if you're a nervous reader and you don't want to lose your page, you can do that. Don't worry about it. You can even place multiple bookmarks within the book, and that's what this little icon above would do, I believe, is bring up your whole list of bookmarks. Yes. So if you're really a bookmark kind of person, which I'm not, but if you are, you could even keep a list going like that. And then down here at the very bottom, this is just your quick way of navigating through the book really, really quickly if you needed to. I believe we could just, we can click and drag on this little progress bar and very quickly zoom to like page 300 if we wanted to. So that is what the reading experience looks like within Libby. And I love it. I think there's just, it's so customizable, and you can really make it display however you need it to. If I go back to my shelf area, there are a few more things that you can kind of experiment and play with, because you're never going to do anything wrong. You're never going to mess anything up in Libby. If you click on Manage Loan, you'll find that you can return your book early. So, if you accidentally checked out a book that you're not really interested in, and if there happens to be a long holds list on it, you might be considerate and just return it early so that other people can read it quickly, but you don't have to. And Libby makes sure to let you know how soon your book is due. So both of these are going to be due in 13 days. At the end of those 13 days, they will automatically return. So you don't need to worry about anything. There's no late fees. There's nothing for you to do. It's just automatically going to get returned at the end of your borrowing period. And that is nice for other readers because, like we said, we have the holds list. It's also nice for you because you're limited to, I believe, borrowing 10 books at a time. So if you really have like a big checkouts list, you'll want to start returning books so that you can continue to check out in the numbers that you want. And we're almost done. Also on this page is where, if you're keeping tags, like if you're doing a TBR list like I did, that's where you can find all of your little lists to go back to eventually. And your holds as well. So if you're waiting for your holds, they're always going to be kind of shelved right there, and you can check out their status and kind of take a look and feel sad that it's not time yet for it to be there for you. And then our very final destination down here on the bottom is just this little clock icon guy, and he's just your history of all of the books that you have interacted with within the app or on the Libby website. So this could be useful if, 6 months ago you looked at a book and now you can't remember the title. Head to this icon and scroll down, and within the list you'll find any book that you've clicked on and kind of interacted with in any capacity. And what's up here? I don't know. All kinds of strange things that I have never personally used as a Libby user myself, so we're not going to go into it right now. But that is really Libby. And now we're going to head over to Hoopla, which is slightly less nuanced, but there's just as much to look at over there in terms of like the amount of content to check out. And also just be aware that like I said before, everything is pretty much clickable in this app. So anything that you see that looks interesting, what's popular? Click on it, and then you can go and look at it. It's really fun to explore all of the different things that they offer in here. And they really break it down by category, genre, topic, etc. So you can get quite specific in your interests and find some great stories. So that's Libby. And now we are going to jump over to Hoopla. Let me just make sure that I don't have any questions waiting for me over here. Nope, but I do have some brave viewers who are with me right now. Thank you so much. I know this is not the most riveting information, but you are troopers. So let's head back to the CDPL website, and now we are going to head into Hoopla. Same thing as Libby, you can click on either the title or the icon to get there. Same thing as Libby as well, you're going to have to sort of create an account for yourself as you're getting set up. The one difference is that Libby really creates an account and only uses your library card to keep track of that account. You never put in your email address or anything like that. You're always using your library card number and PIN number. On Hoopla, the first time you sign up, you are going to need that information, but then you are going to end up having an account where you sign in with your email address, which I don't, oh gosh, do I know my password? I do know my password, yes, okay. So yeah, as you can see with Hoopla, again, you're just gonna have an account where you have an email and password once you get your account set up, and then you'll be good to go. And here is Hoopla. It's a little bit less busy than Libby, but we're going to take a look at sort of the navigational stuff and then scroll through this page and then we'll be done. Up here at the top are your friendly tools for looking for new books, or not even just books, because Hoopla actually is going to really open up the field. Hoopla has books, but also comics, as well. Here's the whole list: comics, movies, music, and television. Libby really only has books and then magazines. So there's a lot more in terms of different types of things to browse here. So this is your general browsing area. Here's your general search bar. And then this is sort of the equivalent of the shelf on Libby. So the things that I borrow, the things that I kind of tag or favorite, the things that I've already looked at before, they're all going to be under my Hoopla. So let's start just like we did on Libby and search for House in the Cerulean Sea, the book that I want to check out. We'll just see if it's available. Like I said, not all books are available on both of these platforms. And so yeah, you can see here, we do have the audiobook, but the major difference is that we don't have the ebook here on Hoopla. So that's fine, you know, but if you do want to read the ebook, that's why you're going to want to have Libby as well on your phone, installed on your phone. So, but that's the book that I wanted, and I'm fine with that. And unlike with Libby, there are no wait times on Hoopla. There's never going to be a wait list. There's never going to be a holds list. So on Libby, it was going to be like 8 weeks before I could listen to this audiobook, but here on Hoopla, I can check it out and start listening right now. So I'm going to go ahead and make that happen. I clicked in on the book that I want to read. I can read the description if I want to. I can look at more books under these genres if I want to, but I really just want to borrow it and start listening. So I'm going to click on borrow. It gives you a warning that this is going to be available for 3 weeks after you borrow it. Do you really want to borrow it? Yes. And then it just takes one moment to kind of load on your device. And then you can click play, and it's going to take you to like the landing page for the audiobook down here. And so you've got your play and your pause option, you've got a volume option, and if you, I think, yeah, there you go. I clicked on that arrow, so it expanded full page for me. So here I can click on play or pause, I can go forward or backward 30 seconds, I can advance chapters if I want to, and I'm sorry, that's, oh, there you go, now you can see better. I can add bookmarks, I can increase the speed, so if you're a speed listener, which those people actually exist, I literally was listening to an NPR piece about people who listen to ebooks on 3 times speed, which is, I don't even understand. You know, reach out to me and tell me about your experiences listening to books on 3 times speed, because that's crazy. But yeah, you can listen to things much faster if you want to, if you're trying to get through them quickly, or even slower if that's better for you. You can see a list of chapters listed out so that you can really quickly kind of just go to chapter 9 if you want to listen to chapter 9. And this is a nice feature as well. If you are listening to your book as you're falling asleep at night, but you don't want it to keep playing like literally all night after you're asleep, you can click on the sleep option and tell it when you want it to stop playing your book. So at the end of the chapter, after 5 minutes, after an hour, whatever you feel like. But I do like that for little bibliophiles who want to listen to their ebooks as they're falling asleep. That's a cute feature. So that's sort of the actual like listening audiobook experience. If we downloaded an ebook, which let's go back to this list of, I don't know what this book is, but we're just going to borrow it so that you can see what this looks like. So instead of play, I now get the option to read. And then it very much is going to display like it did in Libby, where you can click on the left and the right side of the screen to go forward in pages. You've got your bookmark feature. This is very much sort of like just a general e-reading experience. Maybe. Maybe not. Maybe we're not going to go back. Yes, we are. Okay. And now let's go and look at what it would look like if you were going to borrow a movie or a TV show. Because yeah, there's quite a few of those here on Hoopla. So if you go into the movies section and start browsing and you find something that looks really good. I don't know why I'm being picky about this for this tutorial. I just am. I'm being picky about it. I want to download something that I like. You know what? Let's do this. All right. So we want to watch The Pigeon Finds a Hot Dog. So we click on the title and go to the page. Just like everything else, we're going to click on borrow title. And it's always going to tell you what the borrowing period is. So here for movies, you can see that it's only a 3-day period instead of 3 weeks. There is an entire kids mode on Hoopla that you can access if you're a parent that would like to have parental controls and stuff. Just be aware that that's very much an option that you can look for. After I've borrowed it, then I'm just going to click on play, and it will bring up an experience very much like what you would see on Netflix. Here's your movie. Here's how you can advance forward and backward in the movie. Play and pause, 10 seconds forward, 10 seconds backward, volume, full screen, and an exit feature so that you can go back to browsing on Hoopla. But just like that, you can watch your movies, you can watch your TV shows. And then something very different in this list is BingePasses. It is important for us to take a look at that really quickly. If you go to the BingePasses page, they've been adding services to this slowly. So they actually this was new today when I logged on, and I was very excited about that. But these are collections of items where you're going to check out a pass one time, and then it's going to give you the option to kind of browse these collections in an unlimited manner. So let me show you what I mean by that. Let's go to the Great Courses and borrow the Binge Pass for the Great Courses. You can read through this at home, but it basically is telling you get a week to go and look at all of these things that you're going to have access to through this Binge Pass. So I hit borrow, and now when I click play, unlike what we've been seeing before, it's actually going to take me to what is going to look like an entirely new website. And my Binge Pass gets me access to all of the things here on this website. So I can watch any of these videos now that I can find here. And the Great Courses has quite a bit in here. So this is like amazing. Like this is like literally invaluable. This is like thousands and thousands of dollars worth of Great Courses right here at your fingertips. And if I wanted to watch one of them, it's fairly simple. You just click on the course that you're interested in. And then you have like individual video lessons that you can go through, guidebooks, etc. And all of these different Binge Passes like collections, they're very different basically. So we've got Great Courses here, the Hoopla magazines collection right here. So like thousands of magazines I think are contained in here. And then this new resource, I believe, is like really science-y, documentary-based things, videos, movies of all types. It looks really cool. But that's what Binge Passes are. And you can borrow those over and over again. It doesn't matter, but they do expire after 14 days so that you have to re-borrow them. Just like sort of an interesting little nuance there.
Hi friends, another note from the future. I wanted to let you know that if you're a big comics reader on Hoopla, then there are some things you should look out for or be careful of in terms of checking out single issues of comics versus collected issues that are compiled into one volume, or even volumes that are compiled into like a compendium. So using one of my favorite series as an example, we're going to search for Saga, and I can actually even narrow it down to just searching comics for Saga. and it's going to bring up a whole list of every kind of result that they have for this comic book series. If I click on just any of these that I recognize, from the page for that single listing, they usually have a link to just like a page that actually collects only that specific comic all into one spot. And so from here, if you're a comics reader, you may already be familiar with the sort of complicated mess that can be navigating issues, single issues that are put out like on a monthly basis, and then how those are collected into volumes, and then how those volumes are collected into books, and then how those books are collected into a compendium at the end. It's just that issues continue to get compiled into bigger and bigger groups. So here, since you have an eight title limit on Hoopla each month, I recommend that you don't waste your checkouts on checking out single issues of comics unless you're just trying to read like the most recent issues and keeping up with a series. If you're trying to read a series from the beginning, you're probably going to want to look for the collected volumes. And then you can even see that if you're really trying to make your checkouts sort of stretch across the month, you might even be able to find collected books that have bigger collections in them than the volumes. So with Saga, if I wanted to read volume 1, I could do it here because that volume 1 collects issues 1 through 6, but I could also, if I wanted to, check out book 1, and that's actually issues 1 through 18. So Saga currently has 9 volumes out. I wouldn't be able to read all 9 in 1 month if I was doing it volume by volume, but if I check out the books, there's currently only 3 books, and I could get all of those in 1 month. So just something to think about if you do like comics. Pay attention to the number of issues that are in the title that you're checking out so that you can really stretch your capacity.
There's not a lot more to look at, but I did want to show you up here in the My Hoopla area that if you go down to favorites, this is where all of the things that you favorited over the course of your Hoopla lifetime will go. And I've been collecting things here for quite a long time. I like that it sorts them into different types for you so that you've got all of your movie picks in one spot, all of your ebooks in one spot, all of your comics in one spot. And you can just go and really quickly look to see if there's something that you could, watch today or read today or learn about today. I have not looked at some of these in forever, and oh boy, I really need to go in here and watch some of the movies that I've been collecting. And I believe the only thing that I don't think I've mentioned to you is that with Hoopla, I did say earlier that there's never going to be a wait list, like there's never going to be a holds list. So anything that you can find on this website is going to be available for you to check out automatically. But unlike Libby, you have a maximum amount of titles that you can borrow every month, and that number is 8. So no matter what it is that you're borrowing, books, comics, movies, TV shows, like music, even BingePasses, every title counts as 1 towards your maximum of 8. So you can only do 8 things total in a month on Hoopla. So you can actually see I can only get 3 more things during the course of this month, and then that will reset on April 1st so that I can get 8 more things for that month. But it's just something to be aware of, especially if you're new to these apps and you get like very excited and go crazy. You might blow through all of your checkout of allowable checkouts for the month really quickly. So just be aware. On Hoopla, 8 total per month, but there will never be holds lists. On Libby, there's no maximum per month, but there is that you can only have 10 things out at a time. That's a little complicated, but if you want to come into the library and grab one of our handouts and have it just like handy on your fridge if you need to, we've got all that information listed on little cards for you. I'm just trying to think if there's anything else that I would want to show you guys. And do I have any questions waiting for me over here? I do not. That is Hoopla. I think we're good. On our website, if you ever get lost or if you're not sure how to get your account set up, We do have these little guides underneath the links to these resources, so you can open them up and kind of follow our 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 steps for how to get your account set up on Hoopla and how to get it set up on Libby. And if you're having any trouble using these with Kindle, we also have guides here, but we're also very happy to help you if you want to come into the library. Come up to the second floor to the reference desk, and we assist people with kind of figuring this stuff out all of the time. So that's really it. It's 5:45, and if you're with me and you've been listening to 45 minutes worth of explanation about these, you are some kind of wizard, and I respect the heck out of you. That's about it for tonight. If you want to watch this video again, if you were trying to follow along, if I was going too quickly, or if you just need a refresher at all, after tonight, these videos will be posted on our social media accounts and also on our website so that you can always go back and kind of watch my tutorials and get a sense for things again. You can always find those things on the recorded programs tab at our website. And that's where you can find like literally all of the programs that we've recorded so far, not just computer skills and instructional things, but like our nature videos and our craft videos, etc. So just be aware, they'll be there for you in the future, and I'll be here in the library for you in the future if you have specific questions or if you're struggling. So, yep, that's it for tonight. And next month, we're going to do another one of these for, I believe, Canopy. Canopy is another e-content service that we have, but it's completely devoted to movies, films, documentaries, etc. So if you want this kind of in-depth look at that, join me next month. I can't quite remember the date, but it's going to be probably the second Tuesday of April at 5 p.m. Let's see. Yeah, April 12th at 5 p.m. Be looking at Canopy. That's it. Thank you, guys. I hope you have a really great night, and I hope you enjoy exploring Libby and Hoopla, and I hope you keep reading, and I hope you're a good person, and I hope you treat people kindly, and I hope you do something nice for somebody else today. And that's it. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.